He is 100p right. Not 90p, 100p. Okay? No, he's right. He's absolutely right, dude. It's ridiculous. They're like, oh, look at us. We're doing Brad Summer memes on TikTok. It wasn't that long ago when they were like, oh, TikTok is a Chinese psyop and we have to ban it instantly. And now they're like, oh, look at all the TikTok memes that we got for the campaign. It's the marketing downfall of Kamala Harris. What is this?
Hi, so I have a master's degree in business, and today I'm going to use
Oh my God, this content creator always does like crazy marketing
analyze
videos.
the marketing strategy of Kamala Harris's campaign, and ultimately why I believe if she continues with the horrible marketing strategy she has been employing, why she will ultimately end up losing the presidency to Donald Trump. So obviously this is a highly emotional and contentious topic for a lot of people, but the reason why I did want to speak on it is that I think there's a lot of parallels to be drawn between the marketing of a product and the marketing of a political candidate. And while I wish that wasn't the case, because I wish that politics was less of an exercise in personal branding and more of a deeper discussion on substantive policies that will actually be impacting the everyday lives of human beings, that just simply is not the case. And although I'm not American, I am Canadian. Your elections have consequences for the entire world. So I think anybody that wants to put their
Dude, I love this. I love this guy's videos. Okay. Sorry. We're going to watch this because I truly do want to hear, before you say silence Canadian. Okay. I want to hear a non-political analysis from a pure marketing standpoint. I think it'll be entertaining. I have better instincts than you in terms of what is entertaining and what's not.
Their 2 cents in is allowed to. So based on my objective analysis, I believe that Kamala Harris's campaign is built upon very flawed marketing strategy that is very heavily relying on superficial social media engagement, identity politics, and a highly crafted and tightly controlled public image of her persona that is so far removed from the reality of who she is and so socially and media engineered to the point that it is essentially a house of cards that is doomed to collapse.
Oh my
the
God.
First marketing strategy that Kamala Harris is
now
employing.
You want to watch 9-minute TikTok? Yes, I do. He's cooking. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up.
Experiencing it, whether we realize it or not, is the blank slate strategy. This is essentially where she is being intentionally vague and ambiguous in the language that she uses and the way that she appears publicly in order to take advantage of the psychological phenomenon of projection. Because if you are extremely vague and generic and say some of the right words without specifically committing to policies or being very clear about what your values are, human beings will simply project onto you what they want to see. Progressives will see her as extremely progressive and forward.
Oh my God. And this only works if your candidate is truly charismatic enough to the in-group. It's already like a failure of a strategy in general, but like it is the same reason why people refuse to recognize that like Trump's policies are actually inherently harmful to them. Okay, straight up. When he says identity focus, I don't think he's saying like Kamala Harris is using identity politics. I think he's saying the campaign strategy also heightens that to a certain degree. That's the only thing I disagree with him on, by the way. I don't think that Kamala Harris has actually done any kind of like identity politics at all in their forward correspondence, in the way that they present themselves, even in the way of defending against attacks from Donald Trump, which I think is actually pretty effective and very smart. I must be too online. I love this guy. He has great takes. You have become, what, unbearably confident?
Forward thinking. More moderate voters will see her as somebody that's a little bit more measured, and you can kind of see reasoning behind why they're doing it. I don't think it's completely stupid, but I think it is doomed to fail because although it is working in the short term, she's going to eventually be put into scenarios like debates where she will be forced to take firm stances on topics, and because she hasn't done that intellectual work to decide where she really lands on these important issues, she may end up looking unqualified for the job. So the next issue with the blank slate strategy is the only reason it's even remotely effective is specifically because she is solely relying on identity politics. And although I completely understand and respect the excitement associated with nominating the first woman president, the first black woman president,
I don't think she's running an identity politics campaign at all. But I do think that her identity factors into the excitement. And it's not just that she's a woman, a black woman, or a black Indian woman. It's actually the fact that she's younger, okay? I think that they have actually expertly not played this like, you have to vote for me to break the glass ceiling type that Hillary Clinton was doing. Okay. But I do believe that those factors that we, use the shorthand, she's not Biden, to describe are major players in her immediate boost. Okay. That's it. She surprisingly has not done any of the awful Hillary Clinton style identity politics campaigning, which have proven not to work. Joe Biden also never really did that either. And, because he couldn't, because he's like a 80-year-old racist. But I don't think that she's like being like, oh, I'm going to be the first black South Asian American woman to be president or blah, blah, blah. I don't think she's saying that. But I do think that the campaign is currently relying on the difference between the juxtaposition between her and Joe Biden, including being younger.
First South Asian American black woman president. And that's something that is exciting and something that will understandably galvanize a certain demographic of the population that will vote for her solely based on that alone. I do not believe it is a substitute for an actionable policy platform that will actually impact the lives of the American people, because people are currently suffering economically and they want to understand and feel secure in the fact that you have a plan to ameliorate their suffering. So it seems like her campaign is relying on the sole fact that people will be so excited to vote for the first black woman that they will be willing to overlook the fact that she doesn't have a true vision for the country.
Like, I don't think it's because people are excited to vote for the first black woman. I think the campaign is thinking people are so excited it's not Biden. Like, there is some truth to what he's saying here, but if you only came in here to understand what was going on, you would be led astray, because the Kamala Harris campaign is not actually using identity politics at all. And I do think that that's a good thing overall. But the real reason as to why there is a lot of momentum behind the Harris camp is because she's not Biden. And to a certain demographic that was tired, the double haters that the media used to talk about a lot, she's not Trump either. She's not Trump and she's not Biden.
I do not believe that is something that should be relied upon, especially in the context of the United States, where the election will be decided based upon tens of thousands of votes in specific swing states. And the other issue with this lack of a policy platform is it leaves her very vulnerable to attacks from Donald Trump, because they can project any image onto her that they want, and she has no reasonable way to articulate a defense to them because she doesn't really stand for anything. So the next issue that I have with the Kamala Harris campaign is they seem to be very heavily relying on social media engagement as well as celebrity endorsements to create this sort of image of widespread popularity. The issue with using social media as a way to evaluate the current success of the Kamala Harris campaign.
He's cooking, dude. I think he's saying without policy, identity is all there is. It's kind of how right-wings interpret her, perhaps.
Is that social media metrics can be extremely inflated and very misleading, because a huge demographic on TikTok, for example, are people under the age of 18. They will not be voting. And it's also further inflated by the fact that many people on TikTok are in international countries who just enjoy watching the politics for the show of it, like me. But we will not be voting in the election, so it can lead her campaign to be in a place where they are overestimating their grassroots support, when in reality they don't have it because it doesn't really exist. So the danger is that this perceived popularity may not translate into actual votes, particularly in the swing states, which will be the deciding factors of this election. And her campaign's obsession with social media and viral moments and celebrity culture is further illustrated by the decisions they're making by having Megan Thee Stallion twerking on stage, or thinking it was a good idea to have Oprah Winfrey appear at the DNC talking about the middle class, because they clearly do not have an understanding that the average American and average person absolutely despises celebrities, does not want to be talked down to from them, and will not be voting based upon who they endorse. And I'll go even further that I think it does the complete opposite of what they're trying to accomplish. The mere presence of Oprah Winfrey will directly result in people voting against Kamala Harris because of how much people despise celebrity culture and despise billionaires like Oprah Winfrey and everything that...
No, he's not wrong. Chat, he's not wrong. My man, I don't know why he hates Oprah so much. He was close, but people love celebrities. No. In terms of the political dynamic, while people do like celebrities, when is the last time you've ever seen a person be swayed in a specific direction because celebrities told them? If that was the case, then Hillary Clinton would have been president in 2016. They ran on a lot of the same mistakes. Dude. Some people love celebrities, but plenty of other people also hate that very same celebrity. Okay. They won't vote against her, but they will 100% stay home if they're told Pokemon go to the polls. Yeah. I think the view annoying lips so much in these streams that chat makes the mistake of thinking they're the average American. What? They despise billionaires, so why would anyone vote for Trump? No, you don't understand. He's not talking about, I don't think he's talking about like converting Trump supporters into Kamala lovers, dude. He's talking about people in the margins. Will you be able to pick up random people? Will you be able to pick up more people? If every step that you are taking when you have 68 days until the election, every step that you're taking has to be in the right direction. Okay. Trump was literally a cultural figure, celebrity before he ran for office. People love celebrities. This dude is really wrong. Oh, people already had name recognition for Trump because he was a television personality, which played in his favor when he was running as an anti-establishment candidate against an unfavorable, unliked establishment Democrat. Fox News showcasing Sunbelt. Insane polls coming out. Georgia Harris up 50% to 48. Nevada Harris up 50% to 48. This is the post-convention bump. Arizona Harris up 50% to 49. North Carolina Trump up 50% to 49%. People voted for Trump because he ran on bringing back jobs and said the American dream was dead, not because he was a TV personality. He also said all the politicians are phonies and I paid for them, and that I'm a good billionaire or I'm a good rich person and I'm going to run the country like a business. And Americans love that rhetoric. They're so stupid. Yeah, these polls aren't good, by the way. I just want to let you know, like, they're within a margin of victory, with the exception of like the governor's race, which seemingly has not translated to Kamala Harris. Nevada Senate race, Rosen up 55 to 41%. And Arizona Senate race, Gallego 51 to 36 over Lake, have not had upstream positive consequences for the top of the ticket. This is the exact same problem that Biden was running into, and it became a larger issue. Obviously, Kari Lake is a separate situation in and of itself, and yet another L for the Republican strategists out there that are making, I don't know, all the worst decisions. Biden had these exact same problems. What do you think of Alex Eber's new Substack article supporting the idea of a border wall from a left-wing perspective? Dude, the border wall is just a symbol, dude. It is dumb as it is a waste of money, okay? It's literally just a win an argument for the dumbest people on the planet. That's all the border wall is. It's not doing shit. I don't give a about what leftist position there is to like fund a border wall, okay? Get the out of here. It was bad when Trump was pushing for it, especially because he used it as a symbol of racism, and it's still bad. It's still stupid. It's crazy to me that we're now advocating for the border. Like, how quickly do things change? Oh my God. Like, that's nuts, dude. The entire Democratic Party was unified against this border wall, calling it racist and shit. And now there's Democrats being like, well, actually, what about a leftist perspective? Like, it didn't happen 10 years ago. It was 4 years ago, man.
Stands for. And if I was to summarize the core problem with the personal brand of Kamala Harris, and something that I think will continue to bubble underneath the surface of her campaign until it inevitably explodes, it is an authenticity issue. And the perfect example of this is the glaring contradiction of the fact that Kamala Harris is using TikTok as a way to influence young people to vote for her, to make it appear like she cares about their issues and that she hears them, when in reality, she is part of the administration that introduced legislation to ban the app, which is the most insane violation of freedom of speech I have seen in my entire lifetime. And if she does become president in November, come January, the app is set to be taken away from the App Store forever. They literally banned the app because of lobbying from Mark Zuckerberg, because instead of spending money on his own app improving Instagram, he would rather take out his competitor altogether. And because we have a completely corrupt government, he's able to do that. So I can't even imagine the fact that she's been able to run this campaign and has not been questioned about this glaring contradiction. And this brings us, of course, to the most obvious question, which is, why hasn't she been questioned about this, or really anything important? And the reason is that her campaign officials know that she has a historical...
Y'all are so caught up in him saying we because he admitted that he's Canadian, and you're literally missing the forest for the trees, and it's annoying. He is he is 100p right. Not 90p, 100p. No, he's right. He's absolutely right, dude. It's ridiculous. They're like, oh, look at us. We're doing Brad Summer memes on TikTok. It wasn't that long ago when they were like, oh, TikTok is a Chinese psyop that's like causing American teens to be anti-Semitic and we have to ban it instantly. And now they're like, oh, look at all the TikTok memes that we got for the campaign. It's He's right, but framing it as the biggest issue is weird. It's not. I don't even think he's framing it as like the biggest issue. It's a big issue for the Gen Z voter bloc, most likely. It is ridiculous that like that the moment that someone asks them about this question, she has no answer. It's the same idiotic hypocrisy demonstrated by Republicans, okay? When Republicans are like, oh yeah, abortion is murder, but also some states should be allowed to do murders, is a ridiculous argument to make. Oh, TikTok is like this incredibly anti-Semitic Chinese psyop, but also he claimed to be objective in the beginning, but this whole analysis is anything but. In my opinion, he's giving ideological critiques of her. I thought we were getting a marketing assessment of her campaign. I think he is giving a marketing assessment of her campaign, and I happen to agree with some of the things that he's saying. Like, I don't think this person is like a secret Trump supporter, you know what I mean? I think he is saying personally that Kamala Harris running a campaign devoid of issues that will be helpful to people. Okay. Bro, when you say a lot of things he's saying is from Fox News. Yeah, we just watched a Fox News video saying that the anti-Israel protest will be Kamala Harris's October surprise potentially. I said that months ago. And now Fox News is saying it. I said that a month ago. Now Fox News is saying it. Does that make it wrong? No. I also said the right is going to hit her on her flip-flop on the border wall. Also, people saying that she's light on policy is not just a Fox News argument at all. Don't try to polarize against or for one particular viewpoint in an effort to defend Kamala Harris in this situation. While Fox News has been saying, where are the policies? Where are the policies? There's no policies. You know who else is saying that now? CBS, ABC, NBC, CNN, and the Hasanabi broadcast as well. It's just a fact. How are all these liberals deluded themselves again? Did you dumb liberals learn absolutely nothing from 2016? Americans all feel like things are shitty and nothing is changing. People want money in their bank and feel like they can ignore politics and afford groceries. Liberals are stuck in memes and social media. Yeah, I think that shit is dumb. Claiming you can't criticize Harris or else you're using Republican talking points is ridiculous. I don't even think that person was cynically doing that. I think a lot of people are just like trained without realizing to do that. They internalize that. Like, I don't think that person was saying that to be... It's true she's light on policy, but he's bringing that up as a criticism about Harris while Trump has never had a policy. This person is not a political commentator, number one. This person is also not doing a video on Donald Trump's marketing. Maybe they have done a video on Donald Trump's marketing. If they made a video on Donald Trump's marketing initiatives and then he said that it was a banger and it was really successful, then I would have some criticisms of that. So far, though, I am interpreting what he's saying as like a decent critique.
Cool tendency to say extremely stupid things and make very dumb gaffes when she goes off script. When she's reading off script, she is good, she is charismatic, she hits her points. When she is asked a question that is in any way she's unprepared to answer, she makes huge mistakes. Here are a few that she's done before. At one point, she said three times in three separate videos that 220 million Americans died from COVID. She obviously meant to say... not that, because there's 300 million Americans. I think we would know if they all died from COVID. Another time, she was visiting the DMC, which is...
Okay, first of all, there's 330 million Americans. Kamala Harris off script is prone to gaffes. I think Kamala Harris in a debate setting might do well, but Kamala Harris off script when talking to the media or when delivering a speech, not very great. Having said that, however, will she be good? Has she gotten enough training? Her Democratic National Convention speech was a scripted speech. It was decent. Obviously, I hated the things that she said in it, but in terms of like delivery, it was a decent speech. Anyway, let's continue.
The demilitarized zone in South Korea, and she praised the Republic of North Korea and said that she wanted to be allies with them, and she didn't realize that it was South Korea. And then she obviously says word salads a lot where we don't understand the context of all in which she lives and where she came before her pretend to be. One of my favorite quotes from her, she said, "It is time for us to do what we have been doing, and that time is every day. Every day it is time." And this is just the reality. She is not good speaking off the cuff. She knows it, and her campaign knows it. If you need further proof, let's watch how she answered a very simple question on inflation.
And also, what else are you going to do to fix this problem with inflation?
All right, thank you. Well, let's start with this. Prices have gone up, and families and individuals are dealing with the realities of that bread costs more, that gas costs more. And we have to understand what that means. That's about the cost of living going up.
And the reason why I'm showing you this is so you understand the fragility of such a tightly controlled image when she is inevitably put into a high-pressure environment like a debate or an interview where she has to answer questions and she can't articulate herself. This crafted idea that she's an extremely competent person gets shattered.
He's mad she paused. Bro, come on. She just, it's like the Ukraine speech. It's like when she was talking about Ukraine, when they were like, when she was like, Ukraine is a nation that is bordering Russia, a much larger nation. And let's make one thing clear. Russia is a nation that's much larger and bordering Ukraine, and Russia invaded Ukraine. And that's wrong. Bro, the Ukraine thing was on Normie radio show where they had specifically asked her to explain it to people who don't know anything about the region or news, Lamau. I know, but it comes across, the inflation thing that she's answering is not that situation. And it sounds identical to that. She just described what inflation is. The person didn't ask, like, could you explain to the uninitiated what inflation means? Jewish labor bund? I think you just hate black women. Yeah, I mean, classic. I would like to see what she has to say for the rest of that conversation in terms of like what she would do to deal with inflation. They already have decent policies that they've presented before. I want more charisma from Kamala Harris, and I want more bold proclamations from Kamala Harris, okay? And if she wants to win, she's going to have to keep up that energy.
Immediately. So if Kamala Harris really wants to win this election, she needs to radically and quickly move away from the superficial, hollow rhetoric that she's been engaging in and put together a substantial policy platform.
Families and individuals are dealing with the realities of the...
I don't think the coconut tree is word salad. No, I actually defend the coconut tree argument all the time. I think the coconut tree one is not word salad at all. It's actually brilliant and insightful. There are, however, obviously moments where it is word salad.
That bread costs more, that gas costs more. And we have to understand what that means. That's about the cost of living going up. That's about having to stress and stretch limited resources. That's about a source of stress for families that is not only economic, but is on a daily level, something that is a heavy weight to carry. So it is something that we take very seriously, very seriously. And we know from the history of this issue in the United States that when you see these prices go up, it has a direct impact on the quality of life for
Megaphonics. Okay, this is a word salad. Dog, she just keeps repeating what inflation is and how it hurts people. This is literally when you have, this is a Selena Meyer moment, okay? But one of the best parts about this is that this is probably one of the most human moments that she's had, because who amongst us has not had a situation where they had to go up to the front of the class and deliver like their homework or something, or an issue that they were supposed to study, and they did not study at all, okay? I've done this. This is book report shit where you do not know a single damn thing that is in the book. And you're just sitting there and you're like, well, you know, Tom Sawyer was a man. Right, oh, can you grab my, here, I have some stuff outside. Can you grab it?
all people in our country. So it's a big issue, and we take it seriously. And it is a priority, therefore. So we have addressed it in a number of ways. One of the issues that we know is related to this is the supply chain issue that we just discussed.
So you are holding the autobiography of Malcolm X along with Alex Haley. I don't know how far you are into the book, but what's your biggest takeaway so far?
I kind of just started a couple days ago, but I've read and a lot of notes over the years. It's my first time actually reading this from start to finish. But just a very smart man, very, very, very smart man, and basically his words in the '60s and what was going on is actually what's going on today still.
What? Are you guys saying that? Oh, wow. Are you guys saying that he's wrong? Are you saying that he's wrong? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize white supremacy in the exact same ways that it unfolded in the 60s during the civil rights movement was not very much an element in American society right now. Take the Klan robes off. Take them off. Is he wrong? Hassan, you literally this exact same
it's been
analysis
raging
on Trump.
for many, many decades.
So here he is remembering certain key parts, like key details from a briefing that he was a part of. And he's using that to be like, look at how many things I know. It's literally, I've been in this situation when I was a kid and I didn't do the reading and I had to go in front of the classroom and deliver a presentation on some that I totally could not remember. Okay. And we've all been in this situation where you're like, I didn't really read this well enough. I didn't do the writing. I didn't do the reading. I have no clue what the hell's going on. I'm just going to pick certain parts that I do remember and I'm just going to blast them out into your face in the general vicinity of whatever we're reading. That's exactly what's happening here. China, India, 22 people have died. And I remember. I'm the rememberer of things. I'm the greatest understander.
The reason I say this is even if you don't believe this particular piece of intelligence, and there is dispute, no doubt, there is dispute in the intelligence community about it. Your former, John Nicholson, former head of forces in Afghanistan, said, and this is when he was working for you, that Russia is supplying weapons to the Taliban.
Anyway, Trump does all the time too. You had the debate lord speaking cadence back then? No, I didn't. Dude, people just genuinely do not have the mental faculties to understand that, like, if you change one piece of equipment in your streaming setup, like if you change your condenser or if you change like your roadcaster, that it automatically changes the way that you hear my voice. So they think I hit puberty at the age of like 20, at the age of 29. Like, I don't know how to react to people who are like, wow, you had such a baby voice back then. Wow. It's like, dog, I was 29 back then. I'm 33 now. Are you stupid? It's just the processing that changed. Brother, your voice does change in some people when they hit 30. You know that, right? Oh my God. Oh my God. Dude, it was a joke, brother. No jokes allowed. No, there are people who unironically are saying in unhinged in the chat right now. I'm glad I read one of them. I'm glad I read one of them before I read your comment where you're like, oh, people are just joking. It's annoying. Anyway, getting back to this, LeBron is right. And I believe that he read the Malcolm X biography. And one of the things that he says is like, oh, I just started reading it. And like the very same problems that existed back then exist now. So it hits home. It's like, and he's right about that. Like, obviously white supremacy is a massive problem as it was back then.
Him understanding how powerful the Negro can be. He used that word a lot. How powerful we are.
Yeah, I got nothing on that one. No, that's so. He said they use that word a lot. Like, that's the message. He said they use that word a lot. Like, that was the main message from Malcolm X's biography. Yeah, that's a man who hasn't read the book. Okay, I can't even jokingly sit here. I can't even jokingly sit here and defend that shit.
But we have to unite, and we have to be together. We have to stand strong, because there's always going to be obstacles. There's always going to be, things that's going to be thrown at us where they try to weaken us. They try to make us feel like we're not kings and queens. And it's going to come from all, different races and different shapes and sizes and things of that nature. And just a very powerful-minded gentleman. And it's unbelievable to kind of read something that's coming directly from him. Just hate. Wish I had the opportunity to meet him. Obviously, we know what the situation that happened among not only him, but Dr. Martin Luther King, some of the greats that's ever walked this face of the earth, not only just here in America, but in this face of the earth. So it's a pretty interesting book.
I mean, look at his face. He looks like he got in his pants, dude. He's like, was this convincing? Anyway, the point is, I love him and I will glaze him. Why? Because he puts numbers on the board. Okay, that's why. And you would overlook a lot of Kamala Harris's like weird shit if she too put numbers on the board. If she was running around being like, yeah, we're going to give you free healthcare, I promise you, you wouldn't care about any of this. But if she's not running around doing that, if she was the LeBron of politics, is what I mean, okay? if she had like a career average of almost 30 points, okay, over the span of 21 goddamn years per game, politically speaking, she would have to be Mao reincarnated with Ho Chi Minh merging into one person if she was like LeBron. So if she was doing that, okay, in terms of her policy, ain't nobody would give a shit if she read the Malcolm X book or not.
And so on a domestic level, in terms of domestic policy, one of the approaches we have taken is to work with labor unions and to work with municipalities in opening back up and extending the hours of our ports.
LeBron isn't close to 30 points per game, only MJ. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot that LeBron isn't playing against plumbers.
There are actually three I have in mind: Los Angeles, Long Beach, and Savannah. And in fact, part of the infrastructure bill benefit is most recently what we will do to assist Savannah in broadening their ability to be an active port. And we have seen a reduction in the container ships off of the Long Beach and LA ports because of what we have done, which is to extend, as you know, to extend the hours to now 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But there is also a point that is important to make on the Build Back Better framework. One, it is designed to make it less expensive for working people to live. It was specifically designed to bring down the costs of childcare and increase accessibility and availability. Designed to bring down the cost of elder care and make it available to all those working families that need that support and need that help. And Build Back Better is not going to cost anything. We're paying for it. So when we can get Build Back Better passed, and we are optimistic that we will, the American people will see costs actually reduced around some of the most essential services that they need to take care of their basic responsibilities, including issues like childcare and elder care and also preschool. And that's an important point to mention also. And in fact, I had some conversations here in France, including with the Minister of Education in France, about the, again, global impact of the pandemic on childcare, but also on education, and in particular for our youngest children. Universal pre-K, when we're able to do that, 3 and 4 years old, getting education at no cost, what that is going to do in terms of not only supporting working families who otherwise can't afford to put their kids in a private situation and otherwise don't have it available, that's going to have a huge impact on lowering the cost for families. So that is a big part of
She had a start, but the lawyer genes kicked in by the end of it. It's still not great. Like she was reminded of what Build Back Better is and reminded of the Inflation Reduction Act. So she was like, here are some of the signature accomplishments that we're pushing for in terms of the administration's legislative agenda. It took her like a while to wind up to that. Okay. I suspect she was just like looking through the fact sheet in front of her, but regardless, my point still stands in terms of like I'll admit, this was a lot better of a finish than the start, for sure. I think a lot of people forget that we used to say that she's like barred the and even early on, when the swap was supposed to happen, I kept saying, Kamala Harris needs to get off the sauce instantly and get on some goddamn uppers, okay? For this reason, because she does come across like a little suited. It's important to remember. All right, let's finish this video off.
And articulate a very clear vision that she has for the country. If she does, I not only think she will win the presidency, but all 3 branches of government, potentially laying the groundwork for actual transformational change.
Okay, well, like this guy's just chirping. What does he know about? Yeah, dude. Like, I don't think he's like clued in on all of the Senate races and all the House races that are going on, okay? Like, I don't think Kamala Harris can salvage that with good policies personally. Sure, a popular, you also can't win the judiciary. Well, unless you're the Republican Party, because the Republican Party has won the judiciary. Let's be real, okay? I think when he said branches, he meant like the House, the Senate, and the White House. But, dog, we ain't winning Montana. I mean, that could happen. He used the wrong term, but I think he meant House of Representatives, Senate, and the White House. But